Hey y'all, sorry about that again. Of course, I'm gonna do. There's gonna be some technical where I can't be necessarily on time. Sam ain't normally the person that's on time, unfortunately, y'all. That's just who I am. But I am glad to see all 6 of y'all. I'm about to write on my thing that I'm live, so I'm just gonna say YouTube live now. Oh goodness gracious, how's everybody doing today? I'm gonna go look at some of these questions that I saw and that I got from you guys. I appreciate y'all for always, asking these questions and doing what y'all got to do. Let me see if there's any more that I saw. Okay. And let me see if there's any other questions that people have for me. I want to make sure that I am okay. All right. And then okay, so all right, y'all. So anyway, I got a lot of good videos. I got a lot of good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead. I see some new video things. So I'm just gonna go ahead and answer some of these questions. Let's get to it. Oh, okay. So anyway, I see Lala on here. I see Clarice on here. I see a girlfriend. Hello. How are you? Great to see you, a girlfriend. Hey April, what's up, girl? Hey Kimberly, what's going on? I see a lot of power up in the building. Y'all don't know. I have my power up sisters on here. I have a Patreon group. It's a support group for women, and so I have a number of ladies that we meet up and we talk every week, and it's a support group. And I mean, us women need to support each other, man. It's not about this life and like competition and all this stuff. Like that stuff is fake. That's not real. But in real life, we should be supporting each other. We should be helping each other. We should be giving each other life and really being honest and being open. And so that's what I'm all about, y'all. And so that's Power Up. That's my Patreon group. But I am just happy to see you guys. It has been a week, y'all. It has been a week, but my hair look good. But it has been a week, and I'm really excited to get to some of these questions so I can focus on you guys and focus on what y'all have going on and kind of give you guys a little bit of wisdom. The best that I can do. The name of the game, if you guys haven't watched I Was Her Before, is that I will basically answer questions that were submitted via DM or in my story. So you were able to do both. And I will answer those questions all live. I will give you the best piece of advice that I can muster up within, the couple seconds that I read the things, and just go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and let's get to it. Let's get into it. Let me see the first question. Okay, so let me do a long question. All right, so here's one. The first one that I got was, first question, number 1. How do I get past feeling guilty for leaving my ex alone? He don't have anybody that loves him or cares about him besides one person. I feel guilty for giving up on him because I know what it feels like being alone, but I'm just not in love with him anymore. He's too toxic and refuses to admit he has a problem. Do I completely cut ties? I feel sorry for him. Here's my thought process when it comes to that. I don't think I would ever be or want anybody to be with me because they feel sorry for me. Like I don't think anybody really wants that. Oh, by the way, y'all, if you guys really want, I just added this thing called super chats. Sometimes I miss you guys in the chats and all the stuff. There's super chats and there's super stickers. So if you guys really want to see me on sticker, I will shout you out and I will go ahead and answer your question. Bada bing, bada boom. But it's a super chat, super stickers. I just want to say that first, so that I again, the chat goes by so fast. Sometimes I don't get to see everything, but I will do it. Okay. So anyway, nonetheless, I don't know what's going on tonight, y'all. It's like no one knows that I'm on here. That's crazy. But anyway, nonetheless, y'all, I'm live and it is what it is. It's gonna be what it is. So I don't think I will personally want anyone to be with me because they feel bad for me. If you feel bad, like, you know, that's not the reason. I'm just taking it from a different perspective. Outside of feeling bad for him because he doesn't have anybody, I don't know if somebody would want to be in that situation with you when you're only with them because you feel bad for them. You know, that's not necessarily what. Amber, can you shut the door? I'm sorry, y'all. My daughter will yell throughout the entire thing if she hears my voice. But anyway, nonetheless, all you can do is if you got to be honest with yourself first and foremost. I don't know a man that will want you to stay just because you feel bad for him. I don't think that that's what men have a lot of ego. I don't think that they will want you to stay for that reason. I don't think you should stay for that reason. So in my opinion, I think you just should take your cookies and move on, because I don't think that that's, even though you feel guilty for it and you're not in love with him anymore. But if you're not in love with him and that's not genuine, you just feel bad for him, then I feel like the best thing that you can offer him is really friendship. If he's toxic, he ain't working on his issues, if he's not doing what he needs to do to prove to you that, this is something that is worth fighting for, I don't think that you shouldn't feel guilty about that. There might be reasons why this person doesn't have relationships with other people. Maybe the ways that they have been and the things that they have done have caused them to be alone. You got to think about that. When somebody don't have nobody, you got to start thinking about, okay, who are they to other people that they don't have anybody to get? Like, who have they been to other people that they feel like they don't have anyone? Because there's two ways to go about relationships in life. There's offenses that are put on you, and there's things that you put off onto other people. And we all got to sit in that seat and take responsibility and accountability for who we've been to other people. And so we can't stay in nothing because somebody has chosen, however they've gone about their life, unfortunately, it reflects in the people that are there for them in their corner. So you now have to say to yourself, am I going to stay in a situation because I feel bad for him? Would he want you to stay with him because you feel bad for him? No. And if he does, that's kind of sad too. That's something that where you got to pray for him. You can be there for him in a friendship way, but don't fake the funk just because you feel bad for him. That's not the way to do it, because you're not being true to yourself. And then you're cheating yourself out of happiness because you're trying to stay for somebody that you feel bad for. And nobody wins in that situation. Nobody wins. So in my personal opinion, I think you should just keep it moving, and really just pray about it and allow God to heal that situation, because only God can do it. You staying ain't gonna help the situation. You staying ain't gonna make him less toxic. You staying is just you staying, and you sacrificing your happiness because you feel bad for him. I don't think that makes sense. I think that I know that sometimes it hurts. Things hurt. Pain. A lot of times things hurt, and it's not always easy to make the right decision. But at the end of the day, you've got to do what you got to do for you, and you only live this life for you. And you've got to do what you need to do for you. And I mean, and yes, I believe in loving people and loving them from where they are and things like that. But don't allow that to be the reason why you stay in anything that's unhealthy. Nah, that ain't the reason to stay in anything unhealthy. You can pray for them. You could be there for them in a way that you're still protecting your peace and you're still going after your happiness without putting yourself in a position where you're not happy, sis. You're not happy. You may cheat on them. You may do something like that, and then it would be even worse. And then you hurt them even worse. Girl, just move on. Okay. I'm 35. I will be 36 in June. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and had it years before my diagnosis. I have 2 beautiful kids, and I want to be closer to God. I have been 9 in every medication and have gotten worse as the years go by. I was bald from the chemo I was on. Now I'm on a different chemo that I was on before that is less harsh. I want to be close to God, but I don't know where to start. Can you help me? You've got a lot of friends because I've lost, I would say, I think this means I've lost a lot of friends because now being sick, I want friends that will be real with me and accept me as I am. I didn't ask for this disease. It chose me. Thank you in advance. Here's what I will say, y'all. In this situation, look, you can't help. I know there's a few women that I know that have MS. And I know that it varies in difficulties and it varies in challenges for different women. And I know it can be very debilitating. And I know it's not an easy situation to deal with. But you cannot allow your disease to define you. You can't. Sometimes people, the first thing that I hear is that they allow their disease to define them. And you're not, a disease doesn't define you. It's a condition you have. It's not you. That's not who you are. That's what you have. Like, people come in and say, like I got depression, or I'm depressed, or this, that, and the third. You're defining yourself by this, and that's just a condition that you have. That ain't who you are. And so a lot of times, and I'm not negating anything about this, but this whole thing was like, I got two beautiful kids. I want friends. I want people that support me. I want people that love me. I want people that's in my corner, but X, Y, and Z. And you keep bringing up your disease. Your disease is hitting me in every line. And it makes me think that the people that you're talking to, all you're talking about is a thing that is keeping you in the same position, is talking about the problem. You're talking about the issue that you're dealing with, and that's fine. And that's right, Clarice. She has a disease. The disease does not have you unless you allow the disease to have you. Nothing has you unless you allow yourself to be had. And that's period. That's with anything. You know, we have the power to define who we are. We cannot allow ourselves to be what's been put on us. We have to live beyond borders. We have to live beyond boundaries and boxes. And if we allow ourselves to live in a box and define the box, and we label the box, and we just live in that box and stay in that box, we're never going to be out of that box to be able to live life and live life the way you want to live it, and then be defined by things that people can relate to. Unfortunately, not everybody has MS, but there are MS support groups. There are Facebook groups for people that have MS that have that specific challenge. But I know a lot of people that they live anyway. If they're, as much as they can, they live anyway. Don't allow no disease to define you. It's not you. It's something that you have. And so you've got to find other ways to define yourself outside of a disease. What is it that you like to do? What is it that you like to talk about? What is it that you like to watch? What is it that you like to eat? What is it that you like to do outside of the disease aspect of things, which I understand is debilitating. It's something that's causing you a lot of havoc. It's causing you a lot of pain. It's causing you a lot of different things. But you also have to find a way to not allow this disease to have you, because that's what it sounds like from this message. It sounds like the disease has you. You don't have it. So try to redefine things. Look at it. Try to see the glass full or half full. Try to see things from a higher level perspective, from a positive perspective, instead of from a defeatism perspective, because it doesn't have you. You have two beautiful kids. You're able to write me on Instagram right now. Clarice is talking about, one of the girls from my Power Up. She says she's a part of a society called the National MS Society. And when you're talking about your faith and working on your relationship with God, like I said the last time, that's easy. All you got to do, and I'll tell you what, I'll be honest. Today, I was in a bit of a thing, in my own thing. And I felt like God was telling me, pray. All day I felt it on my spirit. Pray, Sam, pray, pray, pray. And finally, when I went to go get my daughter from school, I prayed. You know, I took a moment and I prayed. And I was like, I was just praying. I just said everything that was on my heart. And immediately I had some kind of peace, and I was able to be like, okay, God, I'm releasing this. Like, I'm not going to keep this. I'm not going to hold on to this. I'm not going to allow myself to stay in this. I'm bigger than this. I'm stronger than this. It's not me. It's the God that's in me that's bigger than this. And so you opening yourself up to God and making that time and being intentional with him, that is how you get closer to God. You involving yourself in groups that open you up to God and understanding your relationship with God and encourage you to continue to move forward with him and acknowledge him. That's going to be very beneficial for you. And I encourage you to continue to move forward in that. Because I feel like God is he's such a power player, man. He's a game changer. And so I'm just going to say, definitely, y'all. I do think that your relationship with God, when you start to go through things in life, you start to realize what it is to have that connection with your creator. It's a game changer. It is a game changer. And so I'll just say that, and I'm gonna leave that alone. But I definitely I hope that you understood what I was saying as far as not allowing the disease to have you, and really focusing on, definitely being intentional about focusing on your relationship with God. Be intentional, fight for it. Fight for it, because sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's not easy to sit down and be like, you know what, God, I'm gonna give you this moment, because other things will happen and then you don't focus on God, or other things will distract you and then you don't focus on God. And so just be very intentional. Like, nothing's going to distract me right now. I am going to give these 10 minutes, I'm going to give it to God. These 5 minutes on the way to the store, I'm going to give it to God. Whatever that it looks like for you, just completely be intentional about it, because God is intentional about the way he loves us, blesses us, continues to watch over us. God is very intentional. So we also have to be intentional in our relationship with him. So I'll say that. All right. Okay, so somebody asked me this, and I believe I answered this last week, but I may not have. Hey, Sam, I have a question about lying. If it was revealed to you last April that your husband had lied to you out of fear, and also finding out that he had a porn addiction, do you feel like that is something worth divorcing over? I know you believe God can repair anything, but if that is something that was a deal breaker for you, but you chose to give it one more chance, do you think it's worth the risk? Trust is completely lost on my end, and I'm struggling to gain it back. It may not be that big of a deal to others, but it is to me, and I don't know which way to go. I just thinking about this issue, just thinking about this being an issue in the long run. Watching porn or also lying again. Please help. Here's what I will say about that. And here's the thing, like, can't nobody tell you what's a deal breaker for you. That's number one. It doesn't matter what other people think about it. It matters how you feel about it. So don't feel like you have to say what other people will think. It's you and that person in that marriage. Y'all got to figure that out. But what I will say is that if somebody's willing to fight, if somebody is willing to fight, and you're willing to fight as well, don't give up on your marriage. If you both are willing to fight, if you're both willing to give it your best shot, if you're both willing to give that consistent effort, then you fight. I'm not going to tell you to leave. You're not going to get the pass from me to leave because it's hard. Marriage is hard. That's what it is. But I'm not going to give you the pass to leave because this is a deal breaker for you. Y'all, you got to listen. When you get married, yes, there are some deal breakers. I'm not going to say that there's not. And everybody has their own limit and everybody has their own level to which they go. But what I will say is, just because you defined it as a deal breaker before, those rules, when you can make that covenant with God, those rules go out the window when you say I do. Then you have to play by. There was a whole bunch of deal breakers I had, but a lot of those things went out the window. Why? Or all those things went out the window. Why? Because my covenant to God was greater. My covenant. Look at Clarice. What's up, girl? Come up with the super top chat. Okay, Clarice in the building. I love that. That's a girl for my power up. She's over here giving y'all. I'll tell you what. What I will say about Clarice though is that she deals with what she deals with, and she's a real one for it. And so I love it. Thank you, Clarice. I appreciate you for that. But back to what I was saying. You guys, and what she said, the last thing she said I want to say is that I have good days and bad, but I have to stay focused and give it to God, and it has helped me. And that is beautiful because she's dealing with a similar thing. In my last question about the MS, she's dealing with something similar, and she's able to really speak on it in a real informed place. And so love you, Clarice, you the best. But anyway, nonetheless, y'all, I wanted to also say that in this other one, you have got to say, when you get into a marriage, the deal breakers you define before you get married, that's all BS. That's all fun, not like that's all great and everything like that. But when you say I do and you say it before God, you've gotta forgive the way God forgives. And that's not always easy. You know, I understand when you go in, I always said certain, oh, I ain't never gonna deal with this. Oh, I ain't never gonna deal with that. And then guess what? Those are the things I dealt with. And then when you deal with those things, then you have to make a decision, and you have to make an executive decision in your mind. Am I going to stay or am I going to go? And how long am I going to deal with it? This is the first time, or it sounds like it's the first time you've caught him in doing something that he obviously is ashamed of. If he's willing to get the help that he needs for this issue, and he's admitted it to you, then I believe you fight. You fight. You fight for it. You fight for it. I understand this might be traumatic for you. I know that this might be something that it is hurtful for you. I understand that. But at the end of the day, this is marriage. This is I do to God. So you can't just give up and throw in the towel because, oh, I said I'm not going to deal with porn. And so this porn thing is just, it's listen, God, this is way too much. I said I didn't want to deal with it. Well, unfortunately, when we say what we're not going to deal with and what we will deal with, we end up dealing with exactly that. We end up cursing ourselves because we end up speaking that thing into existence. We end up sabotaging ourselves by speaking that thing and focusing on that thing. And here it is manifested. But nonetheless, we're not there anymore. Now we're at a situation where you caught them in a porn addiction situation and you don't really know what to do. What I would say is fight. I would fight for your marriage. I would fight. I would fight. I would fight. And I would say to myself, or I would say to you, that anything that's worth having is worth fighting for. And so I would give it all you got. And if it's a situation where the person is not willing to bend, or that person understands what it means to you and is still not willing to make the changes that you're requesting for them to make, then yes, move on. But fight. At least walk away from it knowing that you did everything that you possibly could to make the situation work, and it didn't. And you can have peace about that. But right now, just giving up because it's something that you defined before you got married, and this is something you were just not going to deal with. Well, I understand that. And I would say get a good therapist, get a good marital therapist, and really let him know that porn addiction is a real addiction. It's a real addiction. And if with that being said, if it's a real addiction, it requires real work. It requires real work that needs to be had on his side to deal with his addiction, just like every other addiction. You've got to be proactive in fighting it. If you're not proactive in fighting it, you can't fight it for him. He's got to be proactive in it. And if he's proactive about it, then fight. That's what I would say. Um, okay, so next question. Do you feel the need to give a reason that you don't want to be with someone? For instance, you've been with someone for a while and discuss certain issues, and they seem to halfway be addressed by the other party. And they seem to be halfway addressed by the other party. I feel like walking away with no additional explanation. I don't know. One note that's wrong. I'm working on being a better person, but I'm still a work in progress. I will try again. And okay. So this is for instance, you've been with somebody for a while, discuss certain issues. They seem to halfway be addressed by the other party. I feel like walking away with no additional explanation. I don't want to know if that's wrong. I'm working on being a better person, but I'm still a work in progress. I think that no. I think that you listen. You got to be clear. You got to be clear. When you're talking, when we're grown, we grown. All of us is grown. Listen, if you're walking away from a relationship, you let them know what they need to know. If it's a situation where you trying to move on, you trying to move forward, they're not doing what you need them to do. It isn't enough for you, so you decide. Listen, look, this is what I've asked for you to do. Okay, April. Okay, April. With the with the chat. With the chat. Okay, anyway. Thanks, April. I appreciate it. But nonetheless, I would honestly say that if you are dealing with something and we grown and we dealing with it, you need to be open and honest about why you decide you want to walk away from it and what in this situation has caused you to feel that way. Don't just walk away like, and I hate to say it, I used to be, I'm a run. Listen, I was a runner. Okay. I absolutely was a runner. I was the kind of person that was not going to work through it. I wasn't going to give you no explanations. I wasn't going to give you no chances. You do me wrong one time, it's over with. That's it. That's all. That's the last thing you can hear from me, Casper the Friendly Ghost. Okay. Now I'm a little bit better. I'm a little bit more redeemed. I still got a lot of work to do, but I'm a little bit more redeemed in that sense. And I try not to run away from things. I do sometimes, and sometimes I don't. But what I will say in this situation is that you in order for this person to benefit, in order for this person to become stronger, in order for this person to be better for the next person, maybe they need to hear what you have to say. There's a lot of things that even in my breakups, even in the worst situations in my life, I have learned so much. And it was because somebody took the time to give me feedback. And it takes a strong person to get feedback and actually do something with it, because sometimes we so caught up in us, we don't want to hear what the criticism. We think we perfect, we don't want to hear what's wrong with us, but there's always something wrong with us because we're imperfect people, we're human, we're in our flesh. So it's okay to have, and I used to be so defensive, and I've really worked on that, is being so defensive and like not receiving criticism. And look, somebody else is saying they working on not being Casper. But yes, I've had to really work and say to myself, listen, self, like, it's okay for someone to not like something about you. It's okay for someone to have a criticism about the way that you've done things. You probably were wrong in that. You probably didn't do the best way, but do it the best way, because you're not perfect and you're still learning, and you grew and that's just what it is. But I would honestly say, like, don't rob that other person from the opportunity for growth because you don't want to deal with it, because you don't want to give an explanation. Don't rob that person for that opportunity, because because at the end of the day, whether you want to be with them or not, they're going to be with somebody else, and they also deserve the opportunity to be better and to grow and to learn and to be more than what they are right now. They deserve the opportunity, whether you acknowledge that or not. Especially if it's somebody you've invested time and energy into. You tell them what's wrong. You tell them what happened. You tell them why you're deciding that the relationship is no longer suiting you, or you can no longer wait and be patient for the process. We got to be grown these days, y'all. I'm gonna encourage y'all to be grown. Look, just like y'all encouraging me to be grown. It's just how it goes. It's just how the cookie crumbles. So anyway, okay. Next question. Any advice on starting your life as a single woman from a recent divorce? How to navigate through healing and really be whole? All right, so I'm gonna repeat that for everybody on the thing. Any advice on starting your life as a single woman from a recent divorce and how to navigate through healing and really be whole? Okay. So my number one thing with dealing with that is, number one, making sure you're healing. I think the temptation, especially being married and being with somebody, you automatically want to be with somebody else because you're familiar with just having the energy of someone there, like you're always with somebody or you're always communicating with somebody. So like it becomes really challenging because you're accustomed to that. You want somebody to be as consistent as the person you're with. I can only imagine people that go through live in situations and stuff like that. It's just there's a certain level of when you're with somebody and you always with them and you've been with them for a long time, like you get used to that person, you get used to that energy, you get used to sharing life with somebody and what that looks like. And it can be very, very challenging to say, like, I'm by myself and I've got to do things on my own. And that's very, very hard. It is hard. It's an adjustment. But what I would say about healing is that I've really been in my therapy. I mean, I've seen like in the beginning of everything, I was seeing my therapist like once, twice a week. Now I see her once a week. And if there's anything that comes up, I call her. So I'm very big about my therapy. I've really gotten into a lot of different hobbies and things like that. You guys see me in my fitness stuff. I'm really in my fitness game. I've really gotten my skincare routine down and stuff like that. Hair, just like really doing things to better myself as a woman. Gotten really into my spirituality. That's been my number one, is really getting close to God and really developing a dependent relationship upon him. And not just fill the space just to fill the space, because I really want to heal appropriately, and I really want to, if when things happen, I want to give whoever is next, whatever God has for me next. I want to give them the best of me, and I don't want to give them a half-ass version of me because I haven't really healed. When you that's just where I'm at with it. So I'm very big about my Jesus. I'm really big about my therapy, and I'm big about my fitness. I've gotten into a lot of different things. A lot of you guys know I'm a lead social worker for an agency, so that really takes up a lot of my time. I also do my fitness stuff. I do Miracle Mondays, as you know. I do I Was Her. I have Power Up. So there's a lot of different things that I have going on at the same time, and I'm a mom. So it's really really filling up my time and really trying to becoming better instead of bitter. Like, that's really what it is. Becoming better instead of bitter. And instead of being unforgiving and ugly and all this other stuff, just really focusing on I don't know if Erica's on here, but there's a young lady named Erica in our in my Power Up group. And she said, like, she has a forgiveness wall, and she basically, like, in any relationship, we're gonna have to forgive. In fact, the best thing that I ever heard was somebody say unconditional, become professional forgivers, which is a whole nother level. But she has this wall where she writes, what do you need to forgive somebody for, and what did you love about them? And, like, me being able to do that, I've never been able to do that. I'm not the kind of person that does that. Like, if I'm angry with you, I'm a hold on to that anger because I don't want to be hurt so bad that I stay in the angry space and in the unforgiving space and not at a place of healing. And so be very vigilant about, like, walking in love and really getting your healing, and really, like, no matter what happens, like, really focusing on becoming better and not bitter. Better instead of bitter. Because bitter don't get you nowhere, but better gets you a lot of places. And you don't want the next person to have to deal with the stuff that is unresolved from the situation you were in before. You want to give somebody the best of you. And that takes time, that takes therapy, that takes Jesus, that takes a lot of different things. And so we really gotta give yourself the opportunity to heal. And that's the best advice I can give you. Your healing is your responsibility. You know, I talked about last week about how somebody was asking about, how do you know if you're over somebody or not? And if you're still communicating about the person you were once with, you're probably not over them. And you still have work to do, and you still have things that heal. And a lot of times, somebody told me, it takes as much time as you did in a relationship to get over that relationship. And I don't know if that's true or not. But I do think that when you invest that time and energy into somebody, you really deserve the opportunity, just some space to heal. Really heal. Really make sure you heal it, and you heal in the right way, instead of just getting into something else and not really dealing with what you actually have to deal with. Because that's hard. Really sitting in a mirror and really looking at yourself for who you are and who you've been and what you've done, and owning up. Like, I've had to own up to I've had to own up to what I didn't do right, what I did do right, what I could have done better. I've had to sit in that seat. And I think there's a lot of beauty in sitting in that seat, really sitting in that seat, really, really doing your work. So I don't know if that's a good answer or not, but that's the best answer I could give you. Okay, so next question. My ex and I have been together almost 8 years. My ex and I have been together for almost 8 years. So y'all are not together right now. Y'all been going on and off for 8 years. Okay. We have had our ups and downs, but always found our way back. Lately, I have been mean to him, accusing him of cheating. I'm going to take a sip of wine on this one. Accusing him of cheating, which he was not, and accused him of lying. I was going through things and started taking it out on him. Now he wants to just be friends and hopes one day we can get back together, but naturally not forced. How long do I wait? I'm gonna read the question again so you guys got it. For all the people in the back, y'all, it's a little hot where I'm at. Whew, jeez. But okay, let me keep going. My ex and I have been together for almost 8 years. That's a long time, sis. We have had our ups and downs, but always found our way back. Lately, I've been mean to him, accusing him of cheating, which he was not, and accusing him of lying. And I was going through things. I was just taking it out on him. Now he just wants to be friends and hopes one day we can get back together, but naturally not forced. How long do I wait? Here's what there's a lot of things here. Okay. There's a lot that, and I'm also going to be open to the people that's over here on my chat. I want to hear what y'all have to say, but this is where I'm at with this. 8 years on and off. Why is it 8 years on and off? Like, why are y'all on and off? So it doesn't seem like he's like this is not like the perfect merry-go-round relationship. This sounds like this an on and off like on and off. I mean, there's some more details. 8 years, that's some real time. On and off. I mean, unless you're in your 20s, which I can understand. If you like in your early 20s, 20 to 20, I would say 27. You all over the place. I get that. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. But Jessica just said he was cheating. Her intuition was right. He duped her to take the guilt. I think here's the thing. Why were you accusing him of cheating? What about, because you can't just say was going through some stuff, so I randomly accused him of cheating and I randomly accused him of lying. Like that's not something you just randomly do. Like what was it about his behavior that made you be mean to him and think that he was doing something else? Like what was going on? Like, what about the situation made you feel like he wasn't doing right? Why have y'all broken up? Why has this been on and off for 8 years? Why are you so triggered? There's a lot here that I don't really understand, because it seemed like y'all have just been kind of going back and forth doing this dance. And it's like somebody got to walk away. And so I will be honest with you. I think you should move on 100%. I think the only reason why you feel like you want to work it out is because it's not on your terms. He left because of your behavior. And so is she saying mommy? Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Soraya came up with a song, mommy, 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 mommy. But it sounds like to me, if you've been with this guy for 8 years and then you start out of the blue, start accusing him of cheating, start accusing him of lying, that makes me think that you have dealt with this person before. And so something about his behavior was making you feel triggered. And so therefore you started accusing him of stuff. And he's like, look, yo, this, you insecure, you're this, you're that, blah, 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 blah. And then now you in a situation where you saying, dang, maybe I jumped the gun. Maybe I don't really have no proof. Maybe there's not enough for me to say, oh, he was cheating. And so now I feel bad. Now I feel like I pushed him away and I want him back because I really do love him. I've spent 8 years on and off with this person. To me, you felt something in your spirit. And I feel like your spirit was not letting you go. And unfortunately, he's walked away from a situation and he doesn't want you. And that's a really hard thing to feel when somebody don't want you. Like I was telling my group, rejection begets obsession. Somebody rejects you, you start becoming a little obsessed with them. And you got to check that about yourself, And so I would honestly say this might be, maybe God knew that you wouldn't let him go. And I've said this to many women before. Maybe God knew that you wouldn't let him go. Maybe God allowed you to do that because at the end of the day, that wasn't what was right for you. Maybe that wasn't what was right for you. Maybe God is saying that in this situation, this ain't what you need. This is not where you need to be, sis. You need to go. And so you sabotage your own relationship, not knowing that God allows things. God allows certain things to happen, y'all. It is what it is. Now, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. God sometimes allows things to happen in our relationships that don't make a whole lot of sense to us in the moment, but yet 2 years later, we like, damn, that's why that happened. You know what? I didn't understand it in a moment, but now I understand why this happened or why this happened this way. Maybe it caused me to grow. Maybe it caused me to let go of a relationship that wasn't serving me, of a man that wasn't doing right by me. And now I'm over here trying to beg for him back and pine for him back, but he wasn't doing right by you anyway. He just got better at it. Maybe you done caught him a few times and he's like, okay, well, she gonna try to do this. And so I'm gonna cheat this way so that I don't get caught again, because I done got caught by the same chick multiple times. And so I know what she's going to do. I know what she's going to look for. And so I'm going to do this game, and then I'm going to flip it on her like a true professional. I'm going to flip this thing and I'm going to put it on her, because any one of y'all women in here know no one can flip no stuff like a man. A man can flip it on you in a heartbeat. Like, wait, you was mad at him, you came at him about something, and then bam, it's on you. What did you do? How'd you do this? And how did you contribute to this problem? Like, we wouldn't have had this problem if you didn't do this. It's like, dang, I thought I was coming at you about something. Now you coming at me about something, and now the relationship over, and I didn't want the relationship to be ended. It's like, that's what men do. That's what men are, like, professional flippers. They're professional psychological flippers. The next thing you know, you're now the problem. You're now the person they breaking up with, and now you the one that you insecure. You got all these problems. There's something wrong with you. You need to go get healing. You need to go find Jesus, and maybe I'll get back with you when you figure it all out. Girl, flip it and reverse it. He done flipped it and reversed it on you like a true professional. And the thing is, it might be a blessing in disguise. The thing is, that might be God saying, sis, here's your way out. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. It's time for you to ride on into the sunset from this 8-year on and off relationship. And it's time for you to get your healing. So my advice to you is not to wait at all, and to focus on you, and to focus on who you want to be, and to focus on the woman that you ideally desire yourself to be, in the relationship you ideally desire yourself to be. Do not allow yourself to stay in something that ain't serving you. You've been in it for 8 years. 8 years of your life you can't get back. One thing we can't do is get time back. Can't get time back. We can get a lot of things back, but we can't get time back. And so at the end of the day, I would honestly say, I would take my cookies and I would move on, and I would heal. I won't find the next dude to just fill the space up with. I would really heal and allow God to heal that heart, and allow yourself to lick your wounds and find the dude, the man, not the dude, because the man that's going to come in and do right by you and honor you and love you. And you won't be on and off for no 2 years or 10 years or 8 years. You'll be somebody wife into. Okay. And I say 2 because I think that's a great number. 2 years is a great number. 2 years to marriage is a great number. But 8 years and y'all playing this game, I understand the 20s. Again, 20s, I understand. If you in your 20s, yeah, don't jump into no marriage or whatever. But when you get older, yeah, you need to. Maybe God is ending the end of this relationship. Maybe God had to end it, and that's the way it needed to end. I truly believe that you're gonna find some things out on the other side. You're gonna find some things out on the other side you may not like. That's a shame. It always is a shame when you find out things that you like, that you don't want to hear about people that you love. But unfortunately, it's the way that the world works. It's the way that all of this stuff works. You start finding out things, and you start understanding things, and then you have to start saying to yourself, you know what? I'm not going to focus on what I don't have. I'm going to focus on what I'm going to have. I'm going to have this. I'm going to have love. I'm going to have a honest and truth, whatever that looks like for you. I don't know. But just focus on that and get your healing, sis, because clearly you've been something has happened in this situation to where you feel like you can't trust a man. You can't trust this man for whatever reason. Somebody, I'm gonna read the comments. So if you are on here, I'm gonna give you what it says. Somebody said flip it and reverse it. Somebody said facts, 100. Somebody said yes, it's her call to end it because he happy to be on and off to use you. That's what somebody else said. Somebody said, ooh, great question. That led to an eye-opening experience. Somebody said very true, Sam. Somebody says, Somebody said, ain't it a shame? And then somebody said narc. And then somebody said sometimes we can get super attached to toxicity because a relationship pattern is so comfortable and we're doing it for so long. Woo! Who was that? Who was that? Who said that? Oh my goodness. Girl, you said it. Tams, you said that. Sometimes we can get so attached, super attached to toxic relationships because a relationship pattern is so comfortable and we've been doing it for so long. There's a song by Pink. Oh man. There's a song by Pink where she says, we've gotten so used to this abuse, it kind of feels like home. That thing is so powerful. We've gotten so used to this abuse, it kind of feels like home. And y'all, we don't like being uncomfortable. We don't like being uncomfortable. We don't like it. And so we don't like to disrupt our rhythm. We don't like to disrupt our pattern of life because it's uncomfortable. It can be lonely. It can be hard to really sit in that seat and make a decision you ain't never made and do something different and really make the decisions that maybe God is calling you to make. And maybe, I mean, if we can leave God out of it, maybe this is what your path is supposed to be. It's to start, it's gonna force you into greatness. It's pushing you into healthy. It's pushing you into the best version of yourself. It's pushing you into the relationship that's gonna honor you and love you and give you what you deserve. So instead of looking at it like, how long do I wait for a man that's we've been on and off for 8 years? Girl, one thing, all dogs come home. That's one thing you do need to know. All dogs come home. Mm-hmm. They do. Men, they like the familiar. They'll come back to the familiar. But what I will say is that I don't think that you shouldn't give that. Just give me a reason. Is that what it is? Just give me a reason. I don't know if it's just give me a reason. I'm not sure if that's the song. But anyway, nonetheless, it's a song. But all dogs come home. So I would honestly focus on your healing, sis. He'll come when he comes, but I don't think you should take him when he do come. I think you should say, we good. I'm gonna keep on moving straight because I don't think that 8 years on and off, we obviously haven't found what we looking for in each other anymore. 8 years on and off, we are not for each other because clearly it's on and off for a reason. We on and off for a long period of time. There's something here that isn't working. Something isn't working. 8 years on and off. So now we need to move on to find something that does work, where we don't need to be on and off. We just be on. The lights just stay on. Y'all, I had a lot of on and off relationships in my life. Only, well, I guess the only one that was really not on and off was my marriage, where it wasn't on and off. It was like we were on the whole time until we were off. And so it's just one of those things. And so it's like, if it's an on and off situation, there's a reason why it's off sometimes. You may want to find the on relationship. It just stays on. The lights just stay on. Anywho. Okay, men in serious relationships who follow porn stars / scantily clad women. Y'all, she wrote topic, men in serious relationships who follow porn stars / scantily clad women. I don't think it's healthy for a man to follow those kind of accounts. I don't think it's healthy. I think that when you look at those things or you're feeding your mind with those things, regardless if we recognize it or not, you're really focusing your energy or some of your energy on other people. I don't necessarily agree with it. I don't necessarily, some people don't care. Some people are like, it's not that big of a deal. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that it eventually does become a problem, because that man is now, because Instagram has become porn, y'all. It's become soft porn. It just is it's become soft porn. And so you don't even need to go on a porn site no more. Just go to somebody's Instagram. And I just think that, you know, you have to say to yourself, what can you deal with? Because it's very normalized. It's very normalized. The men being following these different accounts, and they start seeing the explore page is coming up anyway, whatever that is. It's very much normalized. And so that is a battle that we in this generation are going to have to fight. And you have to decide whether you're going to make it a real problem or not. But I do think I don't agree with men following scantily clad or porn stars while being in a serious relationship. I don't agree with that. I think there's levels. There's certain things where you're like, well, you know what, this ain't this big of an issue where I'm going to end it or a deal breaker or any of those things. But it may be something where you're saying, this is just not something I'm willing to continue to deal with. Or you just say, this ain't for me. I'm gonna meet somebody that isn't. But there's gonna be a lot of men that do, unfortunately, because it just is what it is. I mean, it's Instagram. It's what's it called? Snapchat, and then you might find a man that is special and super special and just like, nope, I'm gonna stop following these things. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna completely be on you, whatever you want me to do. You don't want me to follow these accounts, I ain't gonna do it. And then you'll have another fight. It'll be something else that you guys are fighting over that may make you feel insecure or not. But I like I said, I don't agree with it, but I also think that you should pick your battles. Like, you gotta choose your wars in this relationship game. You gotta choose your wars. I don't think it's a healthy situation, but again, you gotta choose your wars. So true. I hate it. Not even soft. And these wives be on here showing everything they showed they spouse. The fact that the husband allows it. Well, some men don't necessarily care about that. Some men don't care about you showing everything. Like they just may not care. I mean, some men are like, oh, that's mine. That's all me. And that's like their bragging thing. Some men are like that with they wives. And then there's some men that are like, no, that's all me. You ain't seeing nothing. Ain't nobody about to see a fingernail. They ain't about to see nothing. So you have different kinds of different people. These days is different. It's about what you like, and it's about what you're willing to accept, and about what you're willing to compromise on, because relationships and marriages are compromise. You know, Unfortunately, we live in a world where a lot of us need validation, and well, we all need validation. It's about where you get your validation from. I think the quote I say is that when you put your validation in the hands of the audience, you also put your happiness there. That's where you allow your happiness to be controlled by the audience as well. Whether they like you, you feel good. Whether they hate you, you feel bad. And it's an up and down thing. You can't, external validation ain't ever gonna fill you up. It's not meant to. You're supposed to, internally validate yourself, and that's something that is worked on. It's hard, something I have had to learn, and I still learn. I still want to look good to other people. I still want people to feel like I'm beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That's like natural, but it's about how much it controls you and how it controls your movements, and how you're not, whether you're staying true to yourself or not, based upon what you want somebody to think about you or feel about you. You got to make your choices in this life. What is your spiritual gifting? I don't really know. To be honest with you, I don't know what my spiritual gift is. I can speak in tongues. Um, I've had dreams, prophetic dreams before. I think I feel like I'm a prayer warrior. I think I can pray somebody out of anything. Um, I don't know. I think that I don't know what else. I don't think I have any other ways that I don't know if there's any other gifts that I have. I think I like praying, and I'm an empath, so God created my heart to be soft, very soft and tender, and I'm working on that. To receive that and understand that, like, I can be soft and tender, but there's also boundaries, and that's something I'm learning to create is boundaries. But yeah. So anyway, those are the spiritual gifts that I have. And speaking in tongues, I think it's a Holy Spirit thing, and I can't really explain it in any other way besides it being a Holy Spirit thing. And over time, they tell you to like practice it and continue to do it, and I've continued to practice it. And so now it becomes more of those situations where I can just speak in tongues versus like I had to be in a certain space to speak in tongues. So that's just what that is. Um, did you have challenges growing up as a biracial child in the South? I actually was born in New Jersey. And when I was born in Jersey, moving down, so I lived like on the way down, I lived in a few trailer parks. And that's where I like in South Jersey, that's where I experienced, a lot of the racism that I felt. I experienced a lot of different things. My father is white, my mom is black and Spanish. And so yeah, like I dealt with a lot of different things because people didn't really know what I was or who I just dealt with that not too long ago. But being my dad being white, my mom being black and Spanish, um, just a lot of different things that I dealt with along the journey. Just because people didn't know who I was or what I was going on, or what was going on with me. They didn't know. And so people assumed I was black because of how I act, I guess, the vibe that I gave people. And so there was an attempt on my life. It was an attempt on my life, and that was the first time I was like, wow, like I'm a minority. Like a real attempt on my life, where a boy had jumped on my head in the pool to drown me. My younger brother knocked him off of me and saved my life. But the young man was pulling me under to drown me, especially because I was mixed race. And then I moved to the South. And the South, when I was in the South, man, it was popping. It was very mixed. And so I really didn't have no my like biracial issues in the South. In fact, when I started, I think the only thing was like you got to choose a side. You know what I'm saying? You got to choose a side. Like, what are you? Are you Spanish? Are you black? Are you white? Like, what are you exactly? And I don't speak no Spanish. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak Spanish. My mother speaks fluent Spanish. I don't speak Spanish. And then my stepdad is black. My father is white. My stepmom is black. And so I really more or less identified and really like with my black side. I really did. That's just how I rolled. And so that's just how I identified myself, just because of the fact that like how I was raised, and that's just the side of myself that I identified with. And of course people, will look at me and be like, oh, you're not, you look, whatever. But that's just how I look. How I feel is different. How I connect my soul is different. Okay. But I am mixed with a lot of different things. And so I got Nigerian, I've got parts of Ghana. I've got, then parts of Swedish. Like I'm just all over the place with it. So that's just what it is. All right, y'all. Let me stop playing. I heard you say in a video that you lived in your car. Why? What happened? Y'all, I was broke. I was homeless because I was broke. I was a broke college student. And I didn't want to be a burden to my parents. And I didn't want them to I just didn't want them to do anything. I didn't want them to have to feel the burden of anything that I had going on. And I knew they were going through a lot with, other things in my life. And so I just decided that I was going to live out of my car. And I did. I lived out of my car for a while, on and off. I lived in my Honda Accord 97. I think it was 97 or 99. And I would go, worked at a domestic violence shelter, and I would stay there at night. I'd go to grad school classes during the day. There was times where I sleep in the parking lot of my school. Yeah, so I definitely have had my experiences in life. But it's all good. It makes me a better person, I think. Well-rounded. Well-rounded. But anyway, somebody said that they wrote me a question, so I'm gonna go on there. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so somebody said, okay, I lost my job this week, and to be honest, it's affecting my mental health. I just moved to Atlanta and got my own place. Do you have any tips? I'm in the legal field, and I hope I find something before bills start adding up. I usually have mental breakdowns when this happens. So here's the thing. Well, Atlanta, I don't have any. I mean, I have friends that are lawyers, but I don't have any like legal recommendations because I'm not really. I mean, get on your LinkedIn, get on your what's it, Indeed, get on your stuff, get on your hustle, on your grind. Here's the thing: when we go through things, we can focus so much on the problem that we don't do enough about the solution. So don't allow yourself to get caught up in the mental breakdown, because I'm telling you, this week, something happened to me where Sam had a breakdown. And there had to be somebody that was around me that was like, okay, I know how this is with her. We got to do this, we got to do that, and we're going to do this. So somebody had to come into and help coach and get me off of where I was at, because I wasn't in a productive space. I wasn't in a space that really was going to bring me any closer to my goal. I was just going to stay in the problem if I didn't have somebody that was there, that was helping me kind of coach me through the problem. And so again, I'm going to be that person for you. You can't get so caught up in not having, and get so caught up in what the problem is. You allow yourself to have a moment. But don't allow yourself to stay in that. And I'm saying that while I struggled myself. But don't allow yourself to stay in that. You gotta get up. You got to get going. You got to move. You got to say, listen, I can cry later, but right now these bills are going to add up. So we got to make decisions. We got to make executive decisions. And so I'm going to get on this thing. I'm going to get my resume together. I'm going to start doing what I got to do. I'm going to start making myself marketable, and I'm going to push, and I'm going to push myself to the next level. And at the end of all this, I can cry about it. But by the time you're done with everything, you get your new job. I think everyone is having a tough week. What is going on? I don't know what it is. I don't like that. I rebuked the tough week. Listen, there was good that came out of it. But it's still a tough, it's still somebody, bro, I just saw the Tyler, you a light-skinned sister, Sam. I feel that way too. I feel like I just light-skinned. But I rebuked the tough week. But you got to keep on trying. You got to keep on pushing. You can't allow yourself to cry. You can cry a little bit. You can allow yourself to have a breakdown. Allow yourself to have a night. Eat what you want to eat. Do what you want to do. But then, Get back on that horse and let's get to it. Let's get to it. I know that we can do it. Come on, you got this. Get yourself in the legal field. Start doing your thing. Start looking for stuff. Just you can't. Sometimes we dwell so much in a problem. There ain't a solution in sight because we ain't looking for it. We just so focused on the problem, and that's how the enemy distracts us by us just staying stuck in the problem and not really doing enough about the solution. You can stay stuck talking about a problem for years. If you don't do nothing about the solution, what you gonna do about it? Okay, this is your problem, but what is the solution? What we gonna do about it? What we gonna do about it? We got to move forward somehow. We got to do something somehow. Somebody's talking about paralegal. Somebody's talking about trying temp agencies as well. We just gotta. I know how hard it is sometimes, and I know it's really, really hard to get into it. But yeah, start your LLC. Get into it. Get into it, sis. I'll be honest. It can be very, very tough. It can be very, very tough. But just understand, we got to put one foot in front of the other. You got to start to finish. You got to start to finish. So, I think I think outside of all these things, I think that's enough. Like a lot of these questions. I think I'll answer one more question. What y'all doing for Mother's Day? I think it's the first Mother's Day. I don't have a plan. It's the first Mother's Day. I don't have a plan. I'm like, what do I do with a toddler? Like, I'll be creating my own Mother's Day. What y'all doing for Mother's Day? I know it's like a crazy question, but I don't know what you do. I mean, do we paint? I don't know what we do. Um, mm. Oh, the sauna and mimosas. Oh, that's a great idea. How to end a long-term relationship, girl? Get over. Well, honestly, I don't know. The honesty is the best policy. Honestly, if you end in a long-term relationship, um, you just gotta be honest with the person, be honest with yourself, and move in that. And so that's my suggestion to you would be to just move in that. Just being real with yourself, being real with that person, and really be sure about your decision making. And that's all you can do. It's never easy to end anything, but it's sometimes we get so caught up in the thought process and we make it worse than what it is. That really that might be the best thing for the both of y'all. Who knows? So just be honest with yourself. Maybe write it out. Maybe talk. Really, really gain clarity about what you're looking to say and what you were looking to do, and move from there. And the last question I'm gonna answer, which I see some people talking about the sauna mimosas, and somebody says my kids have a plan for me. Yeah, fortunately, my daughter, she too. She don't have no plan for me. Yeah, I don't know if my mama's gonna be back in town. That's kind of like the thing, is my mom might not be in town. So normally I celebrate with her, but it is what it is. So anyway, guys, the last question I'm going to answer, because I feel like this is a good question. Why would a man of wealth pursue a common woman? I think this is an interesting question for a number of reasons. Why what do you mean by common? A woman of wealth, a man of wealth, why would when you say common, do you mean like Sam, I knew I asked it a few weeks back about the Masked Singer, won't say names, but how baby girl liked the surprise. She loved it. She loved the surprise. Was somewhat surprised. I mean, I feel like he sounded like him. I was like, oh, I know who that is right away. But anyway, nonetheless, I was gonna say, I think that men don't really care about money like that. I don't think that they care about how much money you making or anything like that. They care about what you look like. Are you nice to them? How you make them feel? They don't really care about how much money you make. If a common is that, you talk about common, they want you to be uncommonly fine. That's what they want. They want you to be uncommonly fine. and be uncommonly, when they bring you around, people are like, oh, okay, I see what you're doing, sir. I see what that is. Okay, you doing something over there. Like they want that kind of that when you talk about common, that's what that is. But I really think it's really about how you make that man feel. And I think a man, again, a man of wealth or whatever, I don't know what we consider wealthy, but if you're talking about a guy that, has a lot, like, a lot of money, they're looking for you to be uncommonly fine. And then they want to be able to, hopefully you have other characteristics about you that, they find appealing. Different men want different things. Some men, they want you to be uncommonly fine, spiritual, educated. They want you to have the whole package for you to be, their girl. Like you got to just have it all. And then there's some men like all you got to be is fine. You just got to be fine. You don't even got to make sense. You just got to be fine and make me feel good. It just depends on the man, and where they're at in life and what they're looking for. So I would honestly say that that's I think we get caught up in thinking that a man wants a wealthy woman, and I haven't met a wealthy man that wants a wealthy woman. I've met men that that are significant and have money and things like that, and they're really really it's the big booty for me. So yeah, they like certain aspects, but big booty is one of them. You know what I'm saying? So it depends on the man. They might be a leg guy. They might be a breast guy. They might be, listen, somebody said it's the big booty for me. Well, then that's what it is. So anyway, yeah, a lot of men like big booty. And so that might be one aspect as well. Get you yeah. Anyway, nonetheless, how to let go of a long-term relationship without feeling afraid you will mess up possible blessings that was on the way, but deep down it's not working. So I would honestly say that, when it comes down to it, um, when it comes down to it, it doesn't sound like you're sure about your relationship. And here's the thing. I think that when you're dealing with certain things and you're dealing with, ending relationships and things of that nature, you got to be sure, and it doesn't sound like you're sure yet. And if you aren't sure, then get sure before you make the decision. But here's the thing, you'll never be 100% sure because you never really know what the future holds. You really don't. You never really know what could happen, what could change, what could become. You never know. And all you can do is make the best decision for you right now today. What does that look like for you? And you have to really measure the odds, measure what's good, measure what's bad, and make an executive decision. And you have to say to yourself, listen, is this person really giving me what I desire in a relationship? And if they're not, then you have to make executive decisions. You can't keep somebody on the staff, talking about a work situation, can't keep on the staff for what they could be in 5 years, but they may not ever be. You keeping somebody around for the potential of who they may become versus who they actually are today. And that is going to cause you more problems because you'll stay in something remaining frustrated or being frustrated that they're not becoming who you want them to become because your expectation was them to become something other than what they are. So you have to like not you have to not get so caught up in fear and what ifs. You have to get caught up in what your reality is and who they are today and make a decision on that. Because who they could be, that's a what if. That's a maybe. That's a lottery number. But like a real understanding who they are today, how they acting today, what they doing today, That's where you make your decision, you know, because I think a lot of women get caught up in a lot of women, yeah, and I think that I think that I think when God tells you to go, you know when He's telling you to go. It stays on your mind, you know. It's something that when God tells you to go, you know when you're supposed to go, and when it's no longer, you know. And that doesn't mean that it can't work out in the future. It's just like right now, God is telling you to go, and you got to go. And so I would just say, just be very vigilant about listening to what, because somebody said, like Melody Holt said, God said, go. You know when it's time to bounce. If you aren't happy, throw up the deuces. I would, yeah. I think that you just got to make executive decisions in your life. Lisa B, that's my show. Mel is winning. God don't like ugly and ain't too fond of cute. God don't like, oh, ain't too fond of cute. Okay, I got you. So yes, sis. So just make a decision based on today, and you know when it's time to go. It definitely seems like the only reason why you're not moving is because of fear. And I don't think you make any decision in life off of fear. I think you make decision off of life, off of faith. And your fear is what's keeping you in something that you know is time to go. And if their only thing is fear and the what if and what it was the future hold for me, then I don't think you should remain. And I think you should just be honest with yourself and the person you're with. Because just like you're being held back, he's being held back. Because he can find somebody who's happy with him today, just exactly how he is perfect for them. And so you holding him back while he's holding you back, you know. So you got to make executive decisions in this life. It's not always going to be easy. In fact, it's most of the time it's not going to be easy. But you've got to make the decisions you've got to make, and sometimes you have to break your own heart to do it. Sometimes you have to break your own heart to do it. So anyway, y'all, it is the end of I Was Her, episode 11. Episode 11, episode 11, episode 11. Y'all almost feel like I should order Chinese food. That's how excited I am about this being the episode 11. 11 weeks of doing this show, and it's growing and it's getting more and more traction even after the fact. I'm going to speak into existence. I'm going to see hundreds of thousands of people on here one day. I'm going to see hundreds of thousands of people on here one day, and just really, I'm excited about it. And so, guys, definitely comment what you would like to see, other questions that you may have. And yes, I am definitely really excited about next week, week 12. That's 3 months of me doing I Was Her. That's interesting. Somebody asked me a question. Do I think that my future person is in fear and not finding me? Huh. You know what? You right, sis. Lisa, I need to make me an executive decision t-shirt. I sure do. You right about that. Mm-hmm. But do I think my future person is in fear and not finding me? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if my future person is in fear and not finding me. They might be. They should stop being afraid. They should stop being afraid. Just get to it. So I know that we can do it. But anyway, who knows what God has in store. So anyway, y'all, I love y'all. Thank you for tuning in to the 11th episode of I Was Her. Again, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. And I will see you guys next week, Thursday at 7 p.m. Bye.